Family betrayal stings worst. Elise's 33rd birthday, ignored by her own mom and sister, left behind while they flaunt their spa day at her dream spot. Spoiler, she doesn't just get even, she buys their precious Serenity Haven out. From under them, stay with us for a revenge so slick it'll leave you speechless.
The coffee in my hand was cold, forgotten on the counter as I stared at the note stuck to my fridge. Happy birthday, Elise. We're off to the Serenity Haven spa for the day. Figured you'd be too swamped with work to come along. Love, Mom. The words hit like a punch I didn't see coming. Serenity Haven, the place I'd been raving about for months, the one I'd casually mentioned wanting to visit. And there it was, my 33rd birthday, and my family had ditched me for the most luxurious spa in town without a second thought. I'm Elise, and if you asked my mother or my sister, I'd probably be labeled the family letdown. At least, that's what their little comments and sideways glances always seemed to imply. My phone buzzed, and I didn't need to look to know who it was. Hey, sis! Clara's voice burst through, bright and sharp, like she was showing off a new diamond. You should see this place. The steam rooms alone are worth more than your rent. Mom left you a note, right? Shame you're always so busy. I could hear the smirk in her tone, the one she'd perfected over years of reminding me she was the golden child. Thanks for the invite, I said, my grip tightening on the phone. Oh, don't be dramatic, she laughed. You're always buried in that little office job of yours. Anyway, did I mention I just landed a deal that's gonna bank me a fortune by next quarter? You really should let me give you some career advice. Gotta go, Clara. Work calls. I hung up before she could say more, my eyes drifting to my laptop. A folder sat open on the screen, one I'd been building for months, hidden from everyone. I dialed another number. Tara, it's time. Today's the day. My best friend's voice crackled with excitement. No way, it's happening? Meet me at the usual spot in 15. The cafe was a quiet hum when I walked in. Tara already at our corner table with 2 steaming lattes. Happy birthday, she said, sliding a small card across the table. Though I'm guessing it's been more bitter than sweet so far. I spilled everything. The note, Clara's call, the sting of being left out again. Your family's something else, Tara said, shaking her head. But are you sure about this? It's a big move. I opened my laptop, pulling up the files I'd been pouring my nights into. Look at these numbers. Serenity Haven's bleeding cash. My mentor, Diane, has been feeding me the real story. For months, the owner's ready to retire, and she wants to sell to someone who will keep the spa's legacy alive. The price is steep, but with my savings and the investors Diane's lined up, it's doable. Tara leaned in, her eyes wide. And your family has no clue you've been training for this? I grinned, taking a sip of my latte. They think I'm still just a desk jockey. Mom actually said last week that my job is steady enough for someone like me. Meanwhile, I've been taking business courses, shadowing Diane, learning every inch of the spa industry. My phone lit up with a text from Mom. Having the best time at Serenity Haven. You'd love it if you ever took a break from work. Maybe next time. Tara peeked at the message and groaned. They're practically waving it in your face. Not for long. I opened my email and hit send on a draft I'd been tweaking for weeks. I just locked in a meeting with the bank this afternoon. Tara's jaw dropped. Today? I thought you were waiting. No more waiting, I snapped. My laptop shut. They're at the spa right now, living it up without me. Perfect timing. Let them have their fun. Soon they'll be walking into my spa. You know this is a one-way road, right? Tara said, her voice softer. Once you do this, there's no undoing it. I stood gathering my things. They need to see I'm not just Clara's shadow. I've got a bank meeting at 3, then I'm meeting Diane to seal the deal. Just watch your back, Tara called as I headed for the door. This kind of move stirs up trouble. I waved her off, but her words lingered as I drove to the bank. Trouble was fine. I'd been dealing with my family's brand of it my whole life. Another text came through, this time from Clara. A photo of her, Mom and Dad lounging by a shimmering pool, cocktails in hand. This is the life, sis. Maybe one day you'll figure out how to keep up. I saved the photo. It'd be a nice memento of the last time they thought they had me figured out. Diane was waiting in her sleek office at Serenity Haven when I arrived, the spa's glass walls giving me a perfect view of my family still sprawled by the pool, oblivious to everything. Ready to change the game? She asked, motioning to a chair. The bank came through, I said, pulling out the paperwork. Full financing, just like we planned. I knew you'd pull it off. Diane's smile faded slightly. But there's something you need to know. The spa's books are messier than we thought. My stomach twisted. How messy? She slid a folder across her desk. About 25% more debt than we estimated. The last manager got creative with the numbers. I flipped through the pages, my hands steady despite the panic creeping in. This could ruin us before we even start. Or, Diane said, leaning forward, it could be our leverage. The owner's desperate to sell now. The price just got a lot more flexible. A knock at the door cut us off. Diane, your 4 o'clock clients are here, a staff member called. Through the glass, I saw my parents strolling past in plush robes, laughing like they owned the place. Get down, Diane whispered, and I ducked under her desk, heart racing. My mother's voice floated through the door. Diane, this place is divine today. You've outdone yourself. Always a pleasure, Margaret, Diane replied smoothly. I'll escort you to your room. I stayed crouched until their footsteps faded, then climbed back into my chair, brushing off my skirt. This is ridiculous. I'm hiding like I'm in some spy movie. Diane chuckled, but her expression turned serious. Your family's some of our top spenders. Clara alone drops thousands here every month, probably writes it off as a business expense. Of course she does. My phone buzzed. Clara again. Just reserved the VIP suite for next month. You wouldn't believe. The prices, sis. Probably best you don't look. Wouldn't want to stress you out. Diane glanced at the text and whistled. Your sister's got a knack for rubbing it in. You have no idea. I showed her the string of messages Clara had sent all day, each one a little jab at my so-called failures. It's been like this forever. Every win, every luxury, shoved in my face like it's proof I'll never measure up. Then let's flip the script. Diane pulled out another folder. I've got a full redesign plan to turn this place around. It's ambitious, but it's what we need. For the next hour, we dug into blueprints and budgets. Diane had taught me the ins and outs of spa management over the past year, but seeing the scale of this project was overwhelming. The staff could be tricky, she warned. Some have been here forever, loyal but stuck in their ways. I've been watching them, I said. Lena in bookkeeping's a genius, but she's bored. Mark at reception has ideas for a digital check-in system that could save hours. And Sophie in promotion, she's got a vision for campaigns that could pull in a whole new crowd. Diane raised an eyebrow. You've really done your homework. I had to. This isn't just about proving them wrong. I want this place to shine, better than it ever has. My phone buzzed, Tara this time. Signed yet? How's it going? Before I could reply, voices echoed outside Diane's office. Through the glass, I saw Clara strutting alongside a staff member, gesturing wildly. I'm telling you, she said loudly enough for us to hear. People who can't afford places like this just aren't working hard enough. Take my sister. She's always whining about money, but she won't listen to me. I turned to Diane. How fast can we close this? She grinned, pulling out a stack of documents. Right now, if you're ready. I've had these ready for days. My hands trembled as I took the pen. Outside, Clara's voice carried on, her laughter mixing with my parents. Think about it, Diane said quietly. In a few minutes, every dollar they spend here will be lining your pockets. I gripped that pen, feeling the weight of turning their world upside down. This spa was about to become my story, and I'm pumped to share that vibe with you all. Hey, quick sec. Let's vibe together. If you're hooked on Elise taking charge and rewriting the rules here, smash that like button to keep this fire going. It helps spread the word to others who love a bold move. Not subscribed yet? Hit that button. Join the crew for more of this drama. Quick question. What's one time you flipped the script on someone who doubted you? Drop it in the comments. I'm reading everyone, and I want to hear your win. Now, let's dive back in. I signed with a quick, firm stroke. When do we tell the staff? I've set a meeting for tomorrow morning, Diane said. Your family's booked till 6, plenty of time to slip out without them noticing. As I packed up, another text came through from Mom. Booked our next family spa day. Well, minus you, of course. You're always so busy. This place is for people who know how to enjoy life. I showed Diane, who laughed softly. They're in for a surprise, aren't they? They are, I said, tucking the signed papers into my bag. And it's coming soon. The staff meeting was scheduled for 7 a.m., but I was there by 5, pacing the empty lobby of what was now my spa. My spa. The words didn't feel real yet. You look like you're gonna faint, Tara said, showing up with coffee. Drink this. You'll need it. What if they don't trust me? I said, clutching the cup. What if they all walk out? Tara grabbed my shoulders. You've been prepping for this forever. Diane believes in you. I believe in you. Now make them believe it too. Employees started trickling in by 6:30. I knew their faces from months of quiet observation. Lena, adjusting her glasses. Mark, tapping away on his phone. Sophie, practically buzzing with ideas. At 7 sharp, Diane called the room to order. As you know, I'm stepping down, she began, but I found the perfect person to take over. I stepped forward, my pulse hammering. Whispers rippled through the group. Wait, Lena said, squinting. Aren't you Clara's sister? The one they're always talking about? Yes, I said, my voice steadier than I expected. I'm Elise, and I know what you're thinking, that I'm just some outsider who bought her way in. But I've been studying this business for the past year, learning about this spa, about all of you. I turned to Lena. You built a tracking system that could save us thousands, but no one listened. Mark, your check-in app could streamline everything. Sophie, your campaign ideas could bring in clients we've never reached before. The whispers shifted to curious murmurs. I've got plans, I went on, to make this place better than ever. But I need you, your skills, your ideas. What about our jobs? Someone called out. Everyone stays, I said, with chances to grow based on what you bring to the table. And first up, we're reviewing pay and benefits across the board. That got their attention. For the next hour, we talked about changes, worries, possibilities. By the end, even the skeptics were tossing out suggestions. Then my phone buzzed. Clara. Hey sis, guess what? Just booked us all for another spa day next week. Even got you a slot. Time to loosen up. I showed Diane, who smirked. Perfect timing. The ownership change will be official by then. Elise, Sophie said, hesitating. Your family doesn't know, do they? No, I admitted. They don't? Her eyes lit up. Then I've got a plan. Before she could explain, Lena rushed in, her face pale. We've got trouble. I was checking the books. There's a lien on the property, a big one. If we don't clear it in 3 days, we could lose everything. The room went quiet. How much? I asked. Lena gave a number that made my head spin. That's more than I've got, I said, my voice barely above a whisper. I might have something, Mark said, glancing around, but it's a long shot. Tell me, I said. Your sister. She's always bragging about her stock picks, right? I've been overhearing her calls when she's here. I've got notes on her trades. There's a pattern. If we follow it, that's genius, Tara cut in. Use her own moves against her. It's risky, Diane warned. If it flops, you're done. If it flops, we're done anyway, I said. Mark, show me what you've got. For the next hour, we pored over Mark's notes, tracing Clara's investment habits. It was bold, almost reckless, but if it worked, I can't believe I'm doing this, I muttered, confirming the trades on my phone. Believe it, Tara said. Now let's hear Sophie's idea. Something tells me it's a winner. Sophie grinned, pulling up a mock-up on her tablet. Imagine this. Next week, when your family walks in, every screen in the place shifts to something special. As Tazernur, she laid out her plan, my nerves mixed with a spark of thrill. In 3 days, I'd either lose it all or pull off something they'd never see coming. My phone buzzed. Mom again, in a group text. Next week's spa day is going to be incredible. Elise, try to show up this time. Work can wait. I looked at my team, all of them now in this with me. Don't worry, Mom, I said under my breath. I'll be there. The next 3 days were a blur. I barely slept, my eyes glued to the trading app. Up 15%, Tara reported, camped out in my new office with takeout boxes scattered around. Not enough, Lena said, punching numbers into her calculator. We need at least 25 to cover the lien. My phone rang. Clara. Answer it, Diane said. Speaker. Hey, big sis, I said, keeping my tone light. Elise, you won't believe this. Clara's voice was smug. That energy stock I mentioned? Up 50% today. This is why you should pay attention to me. I muted the phone and looked at Mark. Same stock? He nodded, grinning. I unmuted. That's awesome, Clara. Any other tips? She lowered her voice like she was letting me in on a secret. I'm going big on green tech tomorrow, but that's probably too much for you to handle. You're still coming next week, right? Mom's worried you're turning into a recluse. Oh, I'll be there, I said. Wouldn't miss it. After hanging up, I turned to Mark. How much do we have left? Enough to jump on her green tech play, he said. But if it tanks, do it, I said. She's never wrong about these. She'd hate to look bad. The next morning, I walked into the spa to find Sophie by the front desk, practically bouncing. You've got to see this. She led me to a new digital wall we'd set up, cycling, through sleek shots of the spa's services. Every few seconds, my face appeared, confident, professional, with owner and CEO below it. These go live when your family arrives, she said. Every screen, all at once. It's perfect, I said, my chest tightening, but we've got to make it through today first. Right on cue, Lena burst out of her office. The green tech stocks, they're moving, fast. We crowded around her laptop, watching the numbers climb. 10%, 18, 22. Come on, I whispered. Just a bit more. My phone buzzed. Another group text from Mom. Got Everyone new spa robes for next week. Well, not you, Elise. You're probably too busy. They're custom made. Hope they kept the tags, Tara muttered. Mark let out a shout. 28%! We're there! Lena ran the math. With this, we can clear the lien and still have breathing room. Diane clapped my shoulder. You did it! Now, tax office, call them or go in person. In person, I said. I want to see their faces when we hand over the check. 2 hours later, I left the tax office with papers proving Serenity Haven was free and clear. My phone buzzed. Clara. Sis, that green tech play? Nailed it. 70% return. I'm a genius. Booked an extra massage for next week, too. You should see these prices. I smiled, thinking of where her money was about to go. Sounds great, Clara. I'm definitely coming this time. Really? She sounded thrown off. Well, good. Don't worry about the cost. I'll cover you. This once. So kind, I said, biting back a laugh. What time's everyone getting there? 10 a.m. Sharp. Mom wants us early for the full experience. She even got Dad a custom robe. Perfect, I said, just as Sophie's plan needed. Back at the spa, the staff was in high spirits. Diane had brought sparkling cider, and Lena was passing around copies of the cleared lien papers. To our new owner, Diane toasted, who just pulled off a miracle. And to next week's surprise, Sophie added, showing the display sequence again. The staff cheered. Are you ready? Tara asked later, when the room had cleared. Once this happens, there's no turning back. I thought of Clara's taunts, Mom's dismissive text, years of being the one they overlooked. I'm ready, I said. Let them see who I really am. The morning of the big reveal, I was at the spa by 6, my nerves on edge. The staff buzzed around, setting everything up with a quiet excitement. All set, Sophie reported, checking her tablet. Screens are programmed for 10 a.m. the second they walk in. Show me again, I said. She ran through it. Spa visuals, then my photo, the new logo, and a clean announcement of my ownership. It's flawless, I said. Lena appeared, with a stack of reports. First week's numbers under you. We're up 12% in bookings thanks to Mark's app. My phone buzzed. Clara. On our way. Mom's obsessed with these new robes. Had them made by some big-name designer. Can't wait for you to see what success looks like. Diane touched my arm. You sure you don't want to be out front when they arrive? No, I said. I want to watch from the office. Let them take it in first. Here's food, Tara said, walking in with a bagel and coffee. You haven't eaten all day. I can't, I said, my stomach churning. Feels like I'm about to leap off a building. More like you're about to shove them off one, she said with a grin. At 9:50, the staff gathered for final checks. I'd told everyone to treat my family normally. No hints about the ownership shift unless asked. They're here, Mark called from the desk. Just parked. I rushed to my office, Tara and Diane behind me. Through the one-way glass, we had a clear view of the lobby. Right at 10, my family walked in. Mom leading with bags of robes, Dad trailing, looking half asleep, and Clara, phone out, probably posting about her perfect life. 3, 2, 1, Sophie murmured into her headset. The screens flickered. My family froze. What's this? Mom said, staring at my face on the main display. Clara laughed. Some kind of glitch. No way. The text appeared below my photo. Welcome to Serenity Haven Spa, under the new ownership of Elise. Mom dropped her bags. This isn't real. It can't be. Mark stepped forward, all smiles. Good morning. Your new robes are ready in your lockers, featuring our updated logo. Updated logo? Dad asked, breaking his silence. Yes, sir, Mark said. All branding's been refreshed under new management. Clara snatched a brochure from the desk, her face paling as she saw my name at the bottom. This is a lie, she said. She can't afford this. She can't even book a basic massage here. Actually, Lena said, stepping up with a folder, all your past payments have been moved to the new ownership account. Want to see the records? Mom sank into a chair. All this time, you said you were working. She's in her office, Mark said. Should I let her know you're here? I watched Clara's shock turn to fury. Her office? You mean Diane's office? No, ma'am, Mark said. Miss Diane retired. This is Miss Elise's office. My phone buzzed. A group text from Mom. Elise, if you're here, we need to talk. Now. I looked at Tara and Diane. Ready? Tara asked. I smoothed my jacket, the first big purchase I'd made after signing the papers. The old Elise, the one they'd ignored, was gone. Send them up, I told Mark through the intercom. Their footsteps echoed closer, their shadows looming through the frosted glass door. You've earned this, Diane whispered. Every step. The door opened and my family walked in, their faces a mix of disbelief and something sharper. Fear, maybe. I leaned back in my chair, calm as I could manage. Hello, family, I said, gesturing to the seats across from me. Welcome to my spa. Shall we talk about those robes you brought? I'm afraid they don't quite fit our new branding. Their expressions, stunned, angry, caught off guard, made every late night, every doubt, every moment of planning worth it. How could you do this? Mom's voice shook. Behind our backs? Behind your backs? I said, leaning forward. Like you left me out on my birthday? That was different, right? We were relaxing, Clara snapped. You were working like always. I was working, I said, on buying this place. Every time you came here, flaunting your money, I was learning. Every time you laughed at my little job, I was building this. I slid a folder of reports across the desk. The spa's up 10% in bookings since I took over. Staff are happier. Clients are coming back. Impossible, right? You don't know what you're doing, Clara said, but her voice wavered. Actually, Diane said, stepping forward, Elise has been training with me for a year. She knows this business better than anyone. You, Mom said, pointing at Diane. You helped her deceive us. I helped her prove herself, Diane said. Something you should have done years ago. Dad, quiet until now, cleared his throat. The money, where'd it come from? I smiled at Clara. Let's just say I learned from the best. Your stock tips are loud, sis. Thanks for all those calls in the lobby. Clara's face flushed. You used my strategies? I learned from my big sister, I said, mimicking her tone. Isn't that what you wanted? This is absurd, Mom said, standing. We're leaving. We won't come back. Your call, I said. But good luck finding another spa like this nearby. And your memberships? Non-refundable. Pretty pricey, too. You wouldn't cancel them, Clara said, her voice low. Cancel? No way, I said. You're valued clients. I hit the intercom. Mark, please take my family to their treatments. Usual room. And, I added, make sure they get the new robes with the updated logo. Mom's jaw tightened. Those robes were custom. They cost a fortune. They're lovely, I said. But they don't match our brand. Don't worry. We'll keep them safe while you enjoy ours, with my name on them. This isn't over, Clara said, standing. Oh, it's just starting, I said. Oh, and Clara, those green tech stocks? I followed your lead, helped clear the lien. Thanks for the advice. She froze. You learned from the best, I said. That's family, right? Mark appeared. Your rooms are ready. Mom glared at the robes he held, each stitched with my logo. We don't have to stay. Of course not, I said. But you've paid. And didn't you always say wasting money's a sin? They left slowly, their anger palpable. Dad hung back. You planned this, he said quietly. All of it. I learned from you all, I said. How to play hard, how to put business first, how to treat family. Something flickered in his eyes. Guilt, maybe. But Mom's voice cut through from the hall. Charles, after they were gone, Tara laughed. Their faces when they saw those robes, priceless. They'll hit back, Diane said. Be ready. Let them, I said, watching through the glass as my family was led to their rooms, each wearing a robe with my name. Everything they do here now just builds what I've started. My phone buzzed. Clara, you think you've won? Just wait. I showed it to Diane and Tara. Worried? Tara asked. No, I said, glancing at the security feed where Clara was already typing furiously on her phone. For once, I'm right where I belong. Elise? Sophie popped in. The photographer's here for the website. Lobby shoot. Good. To go? I thought of those new photos. My face on every screen my family would pass. Let's do it, I said. Time to show them who's running things. As I headed to the lobby, I passed Mom's treatment room. She sat there, staring at the robe with my name, her expression unreadable. Sometimes the best comeback isn't tearing others down. It's building something they never thought you could. And sometimes, it's just the start of something bigger, something no one, not even your family, can ignore. As I stepped out of the lobby after the photo shoot, the new brochures caught my eye on the front desk, my signature gleaming at the bottom of every page. It wasn't just a signature, it was a reminder to everyone, especially my family, that I'd taken what they thought was theirs and made it mine. Clara's text still burned in my mind. You think you've won? Just wait. Oh, I was ready to. Make her wait a little longer, and squirm while she did. The spa was humming, guests gliding through the halls, their murmurs blending with the soft trickle of the indoor fountain. I caught Sophie tweaking the digital displays, her fingers flying across her tablet. Adding a few extra touches for tomorrow, she said, glancing up with a mischievous glint. You'll love it. Anything I should know about? I asked, leaning in. Let's just say your family's next visit is going to feel personal. She tapped the screen, and a mock-up flashed, a serene image of the spa's pool, then my face, followed by the words Serenity Haven, redefined by Elise. But this time, there was a subtle addition, a tagline, where every guest feels valued, unlike some family tradition. It was sharp, a jab only my family would catch, and it made my pulse quicken. "That's bold," I said, a grin spreading. "Make sure it's on every screen when they show up." "Already programmed," Sophie replied. "And I've got the staff ready to play it cool. No hints, just smiles. They'll think it's business as usual until the screens flip." I nodded, imagining Clara's face when she saw it. Revenge wasn't just about winning. It was about making them feel the sting of their own words, the ones they'd thrown at me for years. Every time they'd laughed at my little job or left me out of their plans, they'd handed me another reason to build this moment. And I wasn't done yet. My phone buzzed. "Mom, in the group chat, we're rethinking next week's spa day. Not sure it's worth it anymore." I could almost hear her sniffing, like she was trying to take back control. I typed back, "That's a shame. The new signature treatments are getting rave reviews. You wouldn't want to miss out." I hit send, knowing it'd eat at her. She'd never let Clara or Dad skip a chance to flaunt their status, even if it meant swallowing their pride. "Elise," Lena called from the accounting office, waving me over. I stepped inside, where she was hunched over her laptop, spreadsheets glowing on the screen. "You need to see this. Your family's memberships? They've been charging premium packages to Clara's corporate account for years. Thousands every month. Tax write-offs, probably." I leaned over her shoulder, scanning the numbers. "So every massage, every sauna session they've been expensing as a business cost?" "Exactly," Lena said, her glasses slipping down her nose. "But here's the kicker. The account's tied to Clara's company, and she's been sloppy with the paperwork." I dug a little deeper. Public records, nothing shady. And there's enough here to raise eyebrows with her investors if anyone tipped them off. A spark flared in my chest. Clara had spent years waving her success in my face, bragging about deals she claimed were untouchable. Now I had something she couldn't brush off. "Keep that file safe," I said, "and don't say anything yet. I want to play this right." Lena nodded, a rare smile tugging at her lips. "You're scary when you're focused. You know that? Learned from the best," I said, thinking of all the times Clara had twisted the knife with a smile. This wasn't just about the spa anymore. It was about making her feel what it was like to be underestimated, to have your world tilt just when you thought you had it all figured out. I headed to my office, passing the treatment rooms where my family had been earlier, their custom robes now tucked away in storage. I'd told Mark to replace them with ours, each one stitched with Serenity Haven by Elise in elegant gold thread. Every time they slipped one on, they'd wear my victory, and I'd make sure they kept coming back, even if it burned them up inside. Diane was waiting for me, a stack of renovation plans spread across my desk. "You're moving fast," she said, eyeing me. "Heard about the new tagline. You sure you want to poke the bear like that?" "They poked first," I said, sitting down. "Mom's already hinting at bailing on their next visit. I need them here, Diane, not just for the money, though that's nice, but so they can't pretend I didn't do this." She nodded slowly. "Then let's make it irresistible. I've got a plan for a new VIP package. Exclusive, invite only, the kind of thing your mother can't resist bragging about. We launch it next week, right when they're due back." "Perfect," I said, scanning the plans. Private suites, custom aromatherapy, personal concierges. It was everything Mom and Clara loved, wrapped in a package that screamed prestige. "Make sure the invites go straight to them. Hand-delivered with my name on the letterhead." Diane chuckled. "You're playing dirty. I'm playing smart," I corrected, though the thrill of it felt anything but clean. I wanted them to walk in, see my name everywhere, and realize they couldn't escape me. Not here, not anymore. My phone buzzed again. Clara, this time a voice message. I hit play, and her voice filled the room, sharp and brittle. "Elise, you think you're clever, don't you? Taking over the spa, acting like you're some big shot. Enjoy it while it lasts. I've got friends who'd love to dig into this place, health inspectors, tax auditors, you name it. One call, and you're done." Diane raised an eyebrow. "She's not subtle, is she?" "She's scared," I said, saving the message. "And that's exactly where I want her." Clara's threats were loud, but I'd heard her bluster before. She only got this nasty when she felt cornered. I opened my laptop and pulled up the file Lena had sent, the one with Clara's sloppy expense records. One email to the right person, and her investors would start asking questions she couldn't answer. But I wouldn't send it. Not yet. Revenge was sweeter when it simmered, when they didn't see it coming. "Elise, you've got a visitor," Mark's voice crackled through the intercom. "Your dad, he's in the lobby." I froze. Dad hadn't said a word during the reveal, just stood there while Mom and Clara fumed. "Send him up," I said, bracing myself. He walked in looking out of place, his usual golf polo swapped for a button-down that screamed, "I'm trying too hard." "Didn't expect to see you back so soon," I said, keeping my tone neutral. "I wasn't going to come," he said, shifting his weight. "Your mother's furious, you know. Clara, too. They're talking about boycotting this place, but I figured maybe I should hear you out." "Hear me out?" I leaned back, crossing my arms. "You didn't have much to say when they left me out on my birthday, or when Clara called my job a dead end. Why start now?" He winced, running a hand through his thinning hair. "I wasn't always fair to you, Elise. I see that. Watching you today, running this place. You're not who we thought you were. The words should have felt good, but they didn't. They felt like too little, too late. You thought I was nothing," I said, my voice steady but cold. "And now that I've got something you can't ignore, you're here. Convenient. I'm not here to fight," he said, pulling out his phone. "I'm here to show you this." He slid it across the desk, open to a string of texts from Clara to her business contacts. "Serenity Haven's new owner is a fraud. Push for an audit. Hard. I want her out by next month." I read them twice, my jaw tightening. "Why are you showing me this?" "Because it's wrong," he said quietly. "What she's doing, what we've all done, it's not right. I don't know how to fix it, but I thought you should know." I saved screenshots of the texts, my mind already racing. "Thanks for the heads up," I said, standing. "But if you really want to help, tell Mom and Clara to show up next week. I've got something special planned." He nodded, looking like he wanted to say more, but I was already moving to the door. "Mark, see my dad out," I called. As he left, I turned back to the texts. Clara wasn't just threatening, she was organizing. Fine. If she wanted a fight, I'd give her one she'd never forget. Back in the office, Tara was waiting, holding 2 fresh coffees. "Your dad looked like he'd seen a ghost. What happened?" I showed her the texts. "Clara's trying to bury me, but she's about to learn I'm not that easy to shake." Tara's eyes widened. "You're not going to let her get away with this, are you?" "Not a chance," I said, pulling up Lena's file on Clara's expenses. "I want you to draft a letter, anonymously, to Clara's top investor. Don't send it yet, but lay out enough to make them nervous. Vague, but pointed. Let her sweat." Tara grinned, grabbing her laptop. "I love when you get like this." "It's not just about her," I said, pacing. "It's about all of them. Mom, Clara, every time they looked past me. I want them to walk in here next week and feel it. Every screen, every robe, every smile from the staff. I want them to know they can't touch me." Sophie poked her head in, tablet in hand. "Speaking of next week, I've got the final sequence ready. Want to see?" I nodded, and she pulled up the display plan. The screens would start with the usual spa visuals, calm, inviting, then shift to my photo, the ownership announcement, and that new tagline, where every guest feels valued, unlike some family tradition. But Sophie had added something else. A looping clip of Serenity Haven's glowing reviews, with a subtle overlay of my initials fading in and out, like a watermark on their pride. "It's perfect," I said, my voice low. "And make sure the staff knows when my family arrives, they're VIPs, extra attention, extra smiles. I want them drowning in hospitality." "They'll hate it," Sophie said, laughing. "Exactly," I replied. Clara wanted to play dirty. I'd play smarter. Every pampered moment they spent here would be a reminder of who was in charge, and every dollar they dropped would build my empire a little higher. The next morning, I was up before dawn, checking the spa's numbers with Lena. Bookings were climbing, thanks to Sophie's new social media push. Clips of happy clients, sleek shots of the renovated spaces, all tagged with Serenity Haven by Elise. "We're trending locally," Lena said, spinning her laptop to show me. "And Clara's corporate account just confirmed their visit next week. Full package, all 3 of them." "Good," I said, sipping my coffee. "Let's make sure their robes are monogrammed. My initials, extra large. And tell Mark to comp. Their drinks at the juice bar. Call it a new owner's welcome." Lena snorted. "You're evil." "I'm thorough," I said, but I couldn't hide my smile. Revenge wasn't just about big moves. It was about the little cuts, the ones that lingered. Clara could threaten all she wanted, but she'd be sipping my free smoothie while wearing my name. My phone buzzed. "Mom," a solo text this time. "We're coming next week, but don't think this means we're okay with what you've done." I didn't reply. Let her stew. She'd show up anyway. Her ego wouldn't let her miss a chance to save face. As I walked through the spa, I passed the new display wall, where Sophie was testing her sequence. My face flashed across it, calm and commanding, followed by that Tagline. I imagined Mom's reaction, Clara's clenched fists, Dad's awkward silence. They'd spent years thinking they could write me off, but every step they took here would be on my terms now. Elise, Mark called from the desk, holding up a delivery slip. The new VIP invites just went out, hand-delivered to your family, like you asked. Courier said your mom signed for them herself. I pictured her opening the envelope, seeing my name embossed on the card, and I felt that spark again, the one that said this was only the beginning. Clara could call her auditors. Mom could huff and puff, but they'd be back and I'd be ready. Not just to welcome them, but to make sure they never forgot who'd turned their favorite playground into my kingdom. The spa was quiet as I stood by the front desk, watching the delivery slip flutter slightly under the air vent. Mom's signature. On it was all sharp angles, like she'd stabbed the pen through the paper. I could almost see her face when she opened that VIP invite, my name in gold foil staring back at her. Clara's threats, Mom's cold texts, Dad's half-hearted olive branch. They thought they could rattle me, but every move they made just gave me another chance to twist the knife a little deeper. Sophie was still tinkering with the display wall, her tablet casting a soft glow in the dim lobby. You sure about the font size on that tagline? She asked, glancing over. I can make it bigger, really drive it home. I smirked, picturing Clara's reaction to where every guest feels valued. Unlike some family traditions and letters, they couldn't miss. Bigger, I said, and add a slow fade in for my initials. Let it linger. You're enjoying this way too much, Sophie said, but her grin matched mine as she tapped away. Enjoying it just enough, I corrected, my mind already spinning to the next step. Revenge wasn't about shouting. It was about planting seeds, letting them grow until Clara and Mom couldn't look at this place without seeing me. Every plush towel, every glass of cucumber water, every second they spent here would be a reminder. I'd taken their sanctuary and made it my throne. My phone buzzed, Tara with a draft of the anonymous letter we'd talked about. I opened it, scanning the line, concerned about irregularities in corporate expense reports tied to Serenity Haven Spa. Suggest a review of account activity for transparency. It was vague enough to dodge trouble, pointed enough to make Clara's investors twitch. I typed back, hold it for now. I want her nervous, not panicked. Yet, Elise, you've got to see this. Lena called from her office, her voice carrying that mix of excitement and disbelief I was starting to love. I walked over, finding her hunched over her desk, papers, and her laptop spread out like a war map. I kept digging into Clara's account, like you asked. Turns out, she's not just expensing spa visits, she's been routing client entertainment costs through us too. Private dinners, gift baskets, you name it, all billed as Serenity Haven services. I raised an eyebrow, leaning in. So she's been using the spa as her personal piggy bank? Pretty much, Lena said, pushing up her glasses. And she's not subtle. I cross-checked her company's public filings. There's a gap between what she's claimed and what we've actually provided. If someone flagged it, her board would have questions. A slow smile spread across my face. Clara had spent years preaching about her genius deals, but she'd left a trail I could tug whenever I wanted. Print everything, I said, and back it up somewhere safe. We're not using it yet, but I want it ready. You're building quite the arsenal, Lena said, her tone half admiring, half wary. They built it first, I replied, thinking of every smug call, every snide comment about my small life. Clara wanted to play dirty with audits and whispers to her friends. I'd play dirtier, on my terms, with proof that could unravel her carefully polished image. I headed to the juice bar, where Mark was training a new hire on the booking app he'd designed. The place was buzzing, clients sipping smoothies, staff moving with a purpose I hadn't seen before I took over. Numbers are up again, Mark said, catching my eye. Your family's visit is still locked in, full VIP package like you wanted. I comped their welcome drinks, per your orders. Good, I said, imagining Mom sipping a complimentary mango kale blend while stewing over my name on the glass. And the robes? Monogrammed and waiting in their lockers, he said, a spark of amusement in his voice. Your initials are so big they'll see them from across the room. I laughed, the sound sharper than I expected. Revenge wasn't just the big swings. It was these little jabs, the ones that hit where they'd feel it most. Clara loved her designer labels. Mom loved her status. Forcing them to wear my brand, even for a day, was like rewriting their rules in my handwriting. Diane found me by the pool deck, where the morning light danced off the water. You're walking like you own the place, she said, handing me a tablet with the latest renovation mock-ups. I do, I reminded her, flipping through the designs. New private cabanas, a meditation garden, a tech-enhanced sauna. These are perfect for the VIP launch. Make sure Clara's invite mentions the cabanas. She'll hate knowing I thought of something she didn't. Diane shook her head, a wry smile tugging at her lips. You're not just beating them, you're rearranging their whole world. They rearranged mine first, I said, my voice low. Every birthday they'd forgotten, every time Mom sighed about my simple job, every call where Clara dangled her success like a prize I'd never touch. They'd built this fire. Now they'd feel the heat. My phone lit up. A text from Clara, short and biting. Nice invites. Don't think they change anything. You're still playing out of your league. I showed it to Diane, who snorted. She's rattled, Diana said. Keep pushing. Oh, I will, I said, typing back. Can't wait to see you in the new robes. They're a custom fit. I hit send, knowing it'd drive her up the wall. She'd read it as a taunt, and she'd be right. Later that afternoon, I met with Sophie in the marketing suite, where she was editing a new promo video. This goes live the morning they arrive, she said, hitting play. The screen filled with shots of smiling clients, sleek treatment rooms, and glowing testimonials. Then came the kicker, a slow pan of the lobby, my photo fading in with Elise, owner and visionary, followed by that tagline, now in bold, unmissable letters. It's vicious, I said, leaning back. I love it. Thought you might, Sophie said, tweaking the audio. And I've got the staff ready to drop your name in every greeting when they walk in. Welcome to Elise's Serenity Haven. Subtle, but it'll stick. Make it less subtle, I said, the spark in my chest flaring brighter. I want Clara to hear it every time she turns a corner. Mom, too, Sophie grinned, jotting it down. You're rewriting their whole experience here. That's the point, I said. They'd spent years rewriting mine, making me the afterthought, the one who'd never get it. Now every step they took in my spa would scream the truth. I'd gotten it, and I'd done it better than they ever could. As I left the suite, my phone buzzed again. Dad this time. A rare solo message. I'm coming next week. Alone, before the boy. Others. Can we talk? I stared at it, my thumb hovering over the keyboard. Part of me wanted to ignore him. He'd stood by while Mom and Clara tore me down, never lifting a finger. But another part saw an opening. If Dad was cracking, I could use it. Sure, I typed back. 9 a.m., my office. Let him come. Let him see what I'd built up close. If he thought he could smooth things over, he'd learn I wasn't here to forgive. I was here to win. The next few days flew by, the spa a whirlwind of prep for the VIP launch. Lena kept me updated on the numbers. Bookings were soaring, and Clara's corporate account was still funneling money our way, like she couldn't resist the lure of one last visit. Mark rolled out a new feature on the app, letting clients customize their spa day down to the music in their treatment rooms. I'm calling it the Elise Experience, he said, showing me the interface. Figured it'd be a nice touch. It's more than nice, I said, picturing Clara's face when she saw her massage playlist branded with my name. Sure, it's front and center when they check in. By the night before their visit, I was restless, pacing my office as Tara sprawled on the couch with a pizza box. You're like a general before a battle, she said, tossing me a slice. Eat something. You're gonna need it tomorrow. I'm not nervous, I said, catching the slice. I'm ready to make them choke on their own egos, Tara said, grinning. I checked with Sophie. The screens are locked in, the robes are set, and I slipped a little extra into that letter draft, just in case you change your mind. I shook my head, but I couldn't help smiling. Your trouble. Takes one to know one, she shot back. Clara's gonna lose it when she sees that tagline. And your mom? She'll probably try to buy the spa back just to save face. Let her try, I said, leaning against the desk. They can't buy what's already mine. The morning of their visit, I was at the spa by 6, the air crisp and the lobby gleaming under the soft lights. Sophie was running final checks on the displays, Mark was briefing the staff, and Lena was triple-checking the VIP bookings. Everything's set, Lena said, handing me a tablet with the day's schedule. Your dad's due in an hour then? Clara and your mom at 10. Good, I said, scanning the list. Every detail was in place. The robes, the drinks, the greetings, the screens. I'd spent years being their punchline. Today, they'd be mine. Dad showed up right at 9, looking like he'd barely slept. Nice place, he said, glancing around my office as I gestured to a chair. It's more than nice, I said, sitting behind my desk. It's mine, so what's this about? He shifted, his hands clasped tight. I've been thinking about what you said, about us, not being fair. I didn't see it then, but I do now. You've built something here, Elise, something real. I leaned forward, my voice cool. And it took you this long to notice? After all the times you let Mom and Clara walk over me? I'm not perfect, he said, meeting my eyes. But I'm here. I want to make it right. Make it right? I laughed, sharp and low. You think a chat fixes years of being invisible? Here's what makes it right, Dad. You go out there, you wear my robe, you tell Mom and Clara this is my place now. And when they try to tear it down, because they will, you don't just stand there. He nodded slowly, like he was weighing every word. I'll try. Trying's not enough, I said, standing. Show me. Before he could answer, Mark's voice crackled through the intercom. Elise, your sister and Mom just pulled in. 5 minutes early. I looked at Dad. Guess you'll get your chance sooner than you thought. Stay or go. It's up to you. He stayed, trailing me to the one-way glass in my office where I could see the lobby without being seen. Clara stormed in first, her heels clicking, Mom right behind her, clutching her purse like it was a shield. They froze as the screens flickered, my face filling everyone, the tagline glowing, where every guest feels value. Unlike some family tradition, my initials faded in, slow and deliberate, just like I'd asked. Clara's jaw dropped. This is a joke, she said, loud enough for us to hear. She's mocking us. It's tacky, Mom snapped, grabbing a brochure and blanching at my signature. She's turned this place into her personal vendetta. Mark stepped forward, all charm. Welcome to Elise's Serenity Haven. Your robes are ready, and we've comped your drinks, courtesy of the new owner. Courtesy, Clara spat, snatching a glass from the tray. She froze when she saw my initials etched into it, her grip tightening. Dad glanced at me, his face unreadable, then stepped into the lobby. Margaret, Clara, he said, his voice steady. Maybe we should give this a chance. Elise earned this. Mom spun on him. Earned it? She stole it. She built it, Dad said, louder now. While we weren't looking, I watched Clara's face twist, her eyes darting to the screens, then the glass, then the robe Mark held out, my initials glaring. She didn't take it. This isn't over, she said, turning to Mom. We're leaving. Suit yourself, I said, stepping out from the office, my voice carrying across the lobby. But your treatments are paid for, non-refundable. And I hear the new cabanas are worth every penny. Clara's glare could have burned through steel, but I just smiled, calm as the pool behind me. Mom grabbed her arm, tugging her toward the door, but I saw her hesitate, her eyes flicking to the brochure. They'd be back. They couldn't resist. Not when I'd made it impossible to walk away without losing face. As they left, Dad lingered, picking up a robe. I'm staying, he said quietly, slipping it on. My initials looked bigger on him somehow, like a badge he wasn't sure he deserved. Smart choice, I said, turning back to the screens. Sophie gave me a thumbs up from the desk, and I felt that spark again, hotter now. Clara could rally her friends. Mom could rewrite her story, but every move they made just pulled them deeper into my game. And I was just getting started. Dad stood there in the lobby, the robe with my initials hanging loose on his shoulders, like he was carrying more than just fabric. Clara and Mom had stormed out, their heels echoing into silence, but I knew they hadn't gone far. They never could resist the pull of Serenity Haven, not when it was their stage for showing off. I'd make sure their next act played out on my terms, with every detail screaming my name. I turned to Sophie, who was already back at the desk, tweaking the display sequence. Add a welcome banner for tomorrow, I said, my voice steady, but buzzing with that spark I couldn't shake. Something big across the entrance, Elise's Serenity Haven welcomes all, and make my name twice the size of the rest. Sophie's eyes lit up. They'll see it before they even step inside. I'm on it. Good, I said, picturing Clara's face when she walked under it, her smugness cracking like cheap glass. Revenge wasn't loud. It was precise, like a needle finding the exact spot to sting. They'd spent years brushing me off. Now I'd make sure they couldn't blink without seeing what I'd built. Mark appeared, tablet in hand, his grin wider than usual. Just got a ping. Clara's corporate account tried to cancel tomorrow's booking, then reinstated it 5 minutes later. Guess they couldn't stay away. Of course not, I said, leaning against the counter. Mom's probably dying to save face, and Clara can't let me have the last word. Make sure their lockers have the new robes. Fresh ones. My initials embroidered front and back this time. You're relentless, Mark said, tapping the order into his app. I'm also adding a custom greeting on their check-in screen. VIP, guest, courtesy of Elise. Should I throw in a free sauna pass? Do it, I said, And tell the staff to mention my name every chance they get. Elise recommends this treatment. Elise designed this menu. I want it ringing in their ears. He laughed, already typing. They'll be begging for earplugs. Let them beg. Clara's text from yesterday, "You're playing out of your league," was still burned into my phone, fuel for every move I made. She thought she could scare me with her auditor friend, but I had Lena's file on her expenses, a ticking bomb I could drop whenever I chose. For now, I'd keep her guessing, let her wonder how deep my reach went. I headed to my office, passing the juice bar where a new hire was polishing glasses etched with my initials. Tara was waiting inside, sprawled across my couch with her laptop. "Open. Check this," she said, spinning the screen toward me. It was a mock-up of a social media post, photos of the spa's glowing pool, a client testimonial, and at the bottom, a subtle dig. Serenity Haven thrives under new leadership, proving some bets are worth taking. "It's perfect," I said, catching the jab. Clara loved to call my choices risky, like I was a kid gambling with pocket change. This post would hit her where it hurt, right in her polished reputation. Schedule it for when they're here tomorrow. Tag her company, too. Call it a VIP shout-out. Tara's grin was pure mischief. She'll hate that. That's the idea, I said, sinking into my chair. Every step they took here would tie them tighter to my victory. Mom wanted to boycott? I'd make the spa too tempting to skip. Clara wanted to fight? I'd use her own game, status, image, control, against her. My phone buzzed, a group text from Mom. "We're coming tomorrow, but don't expect us to play along with your little show." I didn't reply, just forwarded it to Lena with a note. "Pull their spending history. I want every dollar they've dropped here. If they wanted a show, I'd give them one they couldn't walk away from." Lena popped in minutes later, a folder in hand. "You asked for ammo," she said, sliding it across my desk. "Your family spent enough here to fund a small car. Clara's account alone covers half our premium packages last year, mostly expensed, like we thought." I flipped through the pages, numbers blurring into a plan. "Draft a loyalty reward for them," I said. "Something public, a plaque, in the lobby, honoring our most dedicated guests. Put their names on it, but make sure mine's bigger, with owner right below." Lena's jaw dropped, then she laughed. "That's cold. They'll have to look at it every time they walk in." "Cold's what they taught me," I said, thinking of Mom's birthday note, Clara's smug calls. They'd made me feel small, for years. Now I'd carve my name into their pride until it stuck. As Lena left, Diane slipped in, her eyes scanning me like she could see the gears turning. "You're playing a dangerous game," she said, sitting across from me. "Pushing. Them like this, they'll push back harder." "Let them," I said, leaning forward. "Clara's already trying with her audit threats. Mom's sulking like I stole her crown. But they'll keep coming, Diane, because they can't stand the idea of me winning without them here to see it." She nodded, a flicker of respect in her gaze. "Just don't lose sight of what you're building. This place is more than their drama. It's mine," I said, my voice firm. "And every time they try to tear it down, I'll make sure they trip over my name." The spa was dark when I locked up, the new banner already going up outside, my name gleaming under the moonlight. Tomorrow they'd walk through that door thinking they could outmaneuver me, but every robe, every screen, every smile would remind them I'd taken their game and rewritten the rules, and I wasn't anywhere near done.
Wow, Elise really turned the tables, didn't she? Taking Serenity Haven from her family's shadow and making it her own. That's the kind of comeback that sticks with you. But what happens when someone else faces a betrayal just as deep and fights back with even sharper moves? There's another story waiting in the video below, packed with family secrets and a twist you won't see coming. Click to dive in. It's worth it.